Picture this. You look down at your 2-hole cards, you love what you see, and you raise to 15 bucks. 3 players call you.
So pot's sitting at about $60. The dealer burns and turns the flop, and it comes out the ace of spades, 9 of diamonds, and 4 of spades. You're holding the ace of diamonds and the queen of clubs. The action checks all the way around to you.
So do you bet? Look, if you're like most players, you look at your cards in this exact spot and instantly think, well, I've got top pair. Obviously, I should bet. But if you want to be a profitable low-stakes player, that is absolutely not how I want you to think. Betting just because you see top pair is a massive mistake. Your 2-hole cards, they're literally just one small piece of the puzzle. There is a whole lot more happening around you at that table.
And that brings us to what I like to call the poker scape. Before you make any major decision to toss chips into that pot, you have to observe the scape. It's essentially a mental framework designed to help you stop staring a hole through your own 2 cards and start actually reading the entire table dynamic. Because trust me, once you start taking in the whole situation, your decisions become a million times easier.
S stands for strength. This is the strength of your hand compared to the ranges of the opponents you're facing. C is for count. Simply put, how many players are still in the hand? A is action. What did these guys do pre-flop, and what have they done on this current street? P is position. Where are you sitting relative to the players who still have to act? And finally E, evaluate and execute. This is where you put the whole shebang together, decide exactly what you're trying to accomplish, and then confidently pull the trigger.
Now, that evaluate step, it really boils down to the ultimate question in poker. Why are we betting? We use the SCAPE framework to figure out if we're betting for value or betting as a bluff. If you're going for value, you absolutely must ask yourself, what worse hands can actually call me? But if you're betting as a bluff, the question flips. What better hands can I realistically make fold? Keep those 2 golden rules locked in your mind.
All right, Section 1, applying SCAPE, baseline hand.
Okay, let's run that opening hand through the SCAPE. Strength, we've got ace-queen on an ace-9-4 flop. Top pair, top kicker. That's undeniably strong. But remember, we aren't just asking, are my cards pretty? We're asking how strong they are against our opponents' ranges. Count, we've got 3 opponents. Honestly, that's not ideal. The more players in the mix, the higher the chance somebody hit a monster. Action, you raised, 3 called, and now everybody checked to you. Nobody is showing strength yet. Position, we are last to act. Huge advantage. We just got to watch 3 players make a decision before we had to do anything. Finally, evaluate and execute. Let's put it all together. We're strong, but there are 3 opponents, they checked, and we have position. What's the goal here? We're betting for value. And going back to our golden rule, what worse hands can call? Well, worse aces, 9s, flush draws, there's plenty out there that can pay us off. So yeah, I'd bet. But the absolutely crucial takeaway here is that I didn't bet just because I have top pair. I bet because the entire SCAPE supported it.
Right, now let's tweak just one tiny detail about this scenario. Same exact hole cards, same exact ace-9-4 flop, same exact pot size. But this time, only 1 player called your pre-flop raise. Everything else is completely identical.
Let's SCAPE it again. Strength, still strong. Action, still a check. Position, still last to act. But look at that count. Now we only have 1 opponent to worry about. When we hit the evaluate stage and ask what worse hands can call, well, 9s, draws, worse aces, maybe some stubborn pocket pairs. Because that count dropped from 3 down to 1, we have a way clearer, much more comfortable value betting situation. Notice what happened there? Our whole cards didn't change one bit, but our decision became incredibly easy simply because the count in our poker SCAPE changed.
Moving on to Section 2, the art of the bluff, when you miss the flop.
So, you raise 15 bucks pre-flop at your local 1-2 table. 3 players call. The flop comes down the king of clubs, 8 of diamonds, and 3 of spades. You are sitting there holding the ace of spades and the queen of spades. You totally whiffed it, no pair. And once again, everybody checks to you.
I'm putting you back in the hot seat. Do you bet? You miss completely. Are you going to fire a bluff into 3 different people here?
Let's run it through the framework and see. Strength, we've got ace high. That is not a made hand, so if we throw chips in here, we are definitely not betting for value. We are purely bluffing. Count, 3 opponents. Guys, this is terrible for a bluff. You are basically asking 3 separate people to just surrender and fold. Action, everybody checked. Encouraging, sure, but it absolutely doesn't mean they're completely empty. Position, last to act, which is great. Evaluate, okay. We know we're bluffing, so we ask the golden question, what better hands can fold? Maybe some small pocket pairs? But let's be real, trying to get 3 separate 1-2 players to fold better hands is a tall order. We all know how much players at these stakes love to call. So maybe we bet, maybe we check. But the important thing is, we aren't just stubbornly saying, I missed, I should bluff. We're actually asking if the Poker SCAPE supports a bluff. And against 3 players, it's really tough to justify.
Section 3. When the action changes, adapting on the fly.
All right, new hand. You raised to 15. 1 player calls. Flop is Queen of Hearts, 9 of Hearts, 5 of Clubs. You hold the Queen of Clubs and Jack of Clubs. Top pair, decent kicker. Your single opponent checks to you. If we quickly scape this, strength is good, count is 1, action is a check, position is in our favor. When we evaluate, what worse hands call? 9s, 5s, straight draws, flush draws, worse queens. It is a super clear value bet. You should absolutely be betting here.
But here's the twist. Same hand, same board, but instead of checking, your opponent wakes up and aggressively leads out, betting $60 right into your face.
Hold up, we have to scape it again. Our strength hasn't changed. We still have top pair. Our count hasn't changed. It's still one opponent. But the action just changed dramatically. And because the action changed, your evaluation has to change instantly. You can't just blindly throw chips in because you have top pair. Maybe you just flat call the 60. Maybe you raise. Or maybe, if you're against a super tight player, you literally fold. The SCAPE framework doesn't give you some predetermined robotic answer. It forces you to wake up, notice what you're shifted, and adapt on the fly.
Now let me be very clear here. I am not telling you to sit at the poker table whispering SCAPE under your breath for every single decision. That'd be weird. This is meant to be a practical, natural mental checklist. The goal is to practice it until it just becomes a reflex. Instead of instantly thinking, I have top pair, I bet, you naturally take about 3 seconds to ask yourself, how strong am I, how many people are in this pot, and what is the action actually telling me? Those 3 seconds, they're going to save you from so many costly bad bets, calls, and bluffs.
So let's quickly recap those 5 steps one last time to really lock this foundational tool into your brain. Strength of your hand versus their ranges. Count the players. Note the action. Use your position, then evaluate and execute based on what you're actually trying to pull off.
And I literally cannot stress this enough. These 2 golden questions for the evaluate stage are everything. Before a single chip leaves your hand, ask, if I'm betting for value, what worse hands can call me? And if I'm bluffing, what better hands can fold? Seriously, if you can't identify worse hands that will call your value bet, stop and think. If you can't identify better hands that will fold to your bluff, stop and think.
At the end of the day, you aren't going to play perfectly every single hand. You just need to start making your decisions based on a whole lot more than just the 2 hole cards staring back at you. Because the better you observe the whole situation, the more profitable your cash game sessions are going to be, for sure.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. What are you going to notice the next time you sit down at a 1-2 table? Are you just going to stare at your cards? Or are you going to observe the entire poker scape? Good luck out there on the felt.